Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Finding Your Voice. I'm so excited today because I have someone I've just been having a good time with. Before this camera began, we had some good conversation, and you're going to love her just like I'm enjoying having conversations with her. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Her name is Kate Thurman, and she's an international best-selling author. Don't we love to get there, won't we? And she's an entrepreneur and CEO of Angelically Blessed Inc., a nonprofit dedicated to supporting families in financial need. Love that too. Under Angelically Blessed, she also leads Faith Safe Haven Women's Ministry, which empowers women overcoming past abuse. Love that too. And with over 20 years of business management experience and 10 years in fundraising, Kate also hosts the Kate Thurman Show, where she interviews influential figures. As a co-producer of Graceful Gatherings TV, with the Thurmans and a licensed mortgage loan originator, she continues to impact lives across multiple industries. And after reading this, I'm like out of breath. How does she keep up? How did she get there? We're going to find out because we're going deep in these questions. So, Kate, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Velma, for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Girl, I'm excited. I cannot wait for us to get into this deep dive. And so let's go with our first questions.
Okay.
We've heard all the things you've accomplished. We know it was not a path that was smooth. There had to have been some bumps in the road, some curves. But what were your struggles and obstacles in the beginning, and how did you overcome them?
Oh, that's a good question. So, some of the struggles we had, I'm married to Chris. We got married about a year ago. And honestly, we started all of this a year ago. And the first thing we had, we were just living high. And, so happy to be back together. We got pregnant, had two miscarriages along the way.
Wow.
And I just felt like I was I felt like I was amounting to nothing. Mind you, I do have two kids that I birthed, but I want it so bad. I'm feeling like I'm 42. I need to go and have these kids now but it's God's timing. So some of the struggles that we had was first suffering the miscarriage, not knowing what I was supposed to be doing. So I joined. I got my mortgage loan originating license in all 50 states, and I remember when I got it and I was trying to get into it. I said, "Now, Lord, I know this ain't what you got for me."
Wow. I remember that question. Wow.
Right. So, in that, I started praying. Chris and I, we started praying with Amy, a friend of ours. We always would pray together, and I was like, this not it. And I remember I said, I got to pray. I got to be specific. So I learned that real quick. And I remember that I needed to be specific. So I specifically asked God what it was I needed to do. Now, mind you, it wasn't easy.
No.
Starting up these nonprofits, because it's hard. I'm saying hard. It's hard starting a nonprofit. It's not like a regular business. It's not. I started writing, and that was stressful. I was like, I'm not supposed to be doing this either, but I was supposed to be doing it because doing that helped me find my voice. Doing that, from that, the nonprofit came everything else we're doing, learning that I do have a voice. Somebody wants to hear from Kate. I'm somebody.
Yes.
So we struggled a lot with this being our first, marriage, and a lot of struggles we had was people not believing in us. I had people telling me, like, looking at me like, "You trying to do all that? Like, who you think you are?" I think I'm
been there.
to be. I'm who God called me to be. That's what I'm doing. That's all you can be, is who God called you to be. Those are the struggles of having a miscarriage, not knowing where I was, what I was supposed to be doing in my life. I was sad all the time. Even to this day, behind the scenes, it's hard.
Yeah. People don't understand the struggle behind what it takes for you to do what you have to do. I'm going to be honest with you. Most of the people I've connected with along the way are all on the East Coast. So I'm on the West, and I'm constantly doing this, trying to get in to connect on their time zone. So I
Mhm.
understand. I really do. I love what you shared with the audience because it's going to resonate with someone. People
Mhm.
assume that this is easy. It will be smooth. It's going to be simple. No. And you explained how you not only began these businesses, these nonprofits, but you had a new marriage to build as well. So people will understand that and relate to it. I appreciate you being honest and sharing.
Thank you.
So my last question for you is what can you suggest to others who may be unsure? You had an idea of what you wanted to do. There are others who don't have an idea but they're unsure as to how they should move forward in that path. What would you suggest to them?
Well, that's a good question because I just got off a coaching call with someone. They want me to coach them, and I'm gonna be honest. I was sitting there, I was like, "Now, how you want me to coach it?" Yeah, and then I said, God, He sent these people my way to want me to coach them. I am somebody. I can coach someone, and so the first thing I told them today was, "Did you write a vision and make it plain?" I said, that's the first thing. Secondly, I told them, I said, don't let anyone discourage you because if God gave you that vision, that's your vision. If He bring it to you, He can bring you through it. I promise you. I shared with them something. When I got into all of this last year, I remember sitting there being overwhelmed. I had three devices, meeting here, Zoom meeting here, meeting here, meeting there, and
Wow.
I didn't tell anyone. I went to sleep, and Amy texted me at 5 the next morning. I remember thinking, Lord, this what you got for me? Again, I go back to that,
Yeah,
and she texted me and she said, God told me to tell you if He brought you to it, He'll bring you through. And I said, thank you, Jesus.
that's
That's
beautiful.
solidified. So when you
That's a
solidify,
hashtag.
yes, yes, when you solidify with what God has for you,
Yeah,
that's the first piece of advice. Solidify what it is that God has for you. Because if He gave you that vision, that's all you need.
yeah.
Write it down, make it plain.
That's beautiful. I love that. Another hashtag. Write it down and make it plain.
Make it plain.
My next question for you is I always talk about the fact that when I grew up, back in the 70s in high school, all of that, I remember that we had the dynamics in the family unit that's different than it is now. We had a grandma that was present, we had a grand aunt or some senior member in the family you always had around you. So you can go to them because they're experienced and get some wisdom from them. So because a lot of those family units are no longer today, I call it a wise counsel. And it's just basically getting people around you who some people call it their inner circle, wise people around you who can help to vet things that you may be considering, listen to what you're proposing, and give you some wise advice. So, based on the wise counsel principle, what would you leave with the audience in terms of some wisdom that you can share with them that would help them along the way?
One thing I remember growing up is being told to live on.
Mm,
At
right,
first, I didn't know what that
right.
meant. I felt like, I what you mean? Is some bad stuff gonna happen? That's not what that means. It means you're gonna go through things in life. But when I grow up in the church. I grew up in the church, so still not really understanding what that meant. Like live on. You're gonna have to turn to God,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
He's gonna lead the way. Take Him with you. Give it all to God. That's
Yeah.
advice I'm gonna give every day, all day, because that's the advice when I was told to live on and I didn't understand it. I went back and asked. I'm like, well, what you trying to tell me to live on for? What that mean? And realizing that they said, you going when you grow up and you're younger, you think you don't need anybody. You don't
Yep, yep.
need anything. I thought I knew
Hmm.
it all. I was something.
Yep,
And when my family, all of my great aunts, and then they say live on. And
right,
I'm like, what?
right.
And, and now I tell my kids
Hmm.
live on.
Hmm. Do
And
they ask you what does it mean?
yeah, they asked me what it means because like my daughter, when she's 23 now, so she just got her first apartment, and
Oh.
I say, live on, baby. When you go
Mhm.
on out there and you get them bills and life be life, and you'll
Yeah.
come. She called me last week. She said, Mom, Mommy, I'm sitting there and I got this to pay and I'm budgeting for here. And I was just laughing. I said, remember when I told you, live on?
Live on.
Mhm.
Hello.
Live on. Even when it comes to businesses, when you think you know it all, or you think you don't need this, or whatever the situation may
Mhm.
be, you need
You
God.
need
And
him.
if you think you don't right now, live on.
I'm trying to put my hand on the screen. That's who you need. Number one.
I'm
That's awesome.
telling
I love
you.
it. I love it. It has been a wonderful experience having you on our pre-show as well as the actual show. It's been wonderful. I appreciate you, Kate, and I thank you for spending time with me today. Is there anything you'd like to leave with the audience, and make sure you give them information as to how they can stay connected and even find out about some of these other activities you have going on?
Yes. Oh, I got a gala coming. I have a gala coming March the 1st. It's
Hmm.
Angelically Blessed. We help families that are impeding homelessness.
Yes.
God put that on us to do that. So that's one of the things we have coming up is March the 1st is
Uh-huh.
Angelic Gatsby Gala. We have Cyrus Webb will be in the building. He's one of the nominees. He's actually the speaker, keynote
Hmm.
speaker that night. We have, um, you guys can follow me on Kate Thurman or Graceful Gatherings with the Thurmans or Angelically Blessed, which is a nonprofit, or Faith Safe Haven. It's two Faith Safe Havens, Faith Safe Haven Women and Faith Safe Haven Men
Wow.
on Facebook. Yes. And
Wow.
of course, we have the Kate Thurman Show. We have a lot going on. So all of that is on Facebook. So you can just search Kate Thurman, you're gonna find me. Just
Wow.
in Kate Thurman.
That's
It's,
beautiful. That's a lot going on. I appreciate what you and your husband are doing in
thank
ministry, and you're definitely giving to others who don't have. That's such a blessing to hear, because it's not everywhere that that happens. So I appreciate it. If you want to know more about Kate and her family and all the work that she and her husband is doing, as well as the gala, make sure you reach out to her. This has been a fabulous time. I'm so glad we were able to have this time together. So thank you all for tuning in, and thank you, Kate, for joining me
thank
today.
you for having me. It
It's
was
been
fun. I
excellent.
love it.